Hi everybody and welcome back to Chrysalis Community's online movement exploration offering that we have. Maura so graciously led you guys through the first three of the fundamental patterns of whole body connectivity as developed by Bartenieff. And I will be taking you through the last three. Today we'll be talking about upper lower. And so, as always, make sure that you are listening to your body and what it needs today. The movements that we offer you are always suggestions for you to modify and explore and do what works best for your body today. And if you have any concerns about your movement and trying new things, it's always best to consult with a professional before you do that. So we're going to start with our opening of the space. Okay. And then tuning in to the breath, we're just going to start to pay attention, notice maybe the separation. You can do this using touch, if you like, upper body and lower body. You can also do this looking in a mirror or just watching me. And I'm going to read to you what Peggy Hackney has to say about the upper-lower connectivity. I want, I will, I can't, I can. I struggle to claim my own power and use it. I push away to make my safe space safe. I reach out to go forward toward my goal. I fail, I push through, I succeed. I stand on my own 2 feet. I am confident as I move into my world. And so we're going to be taking some time to explore some of that today. Mark kind of introduced you to the ideas of yielding and pushing, reaching and pulling in the head-tail connectivity, and we're really going to take some time to dive deeper into that in upper-lower. In this developmental stage, this is when babies are starting to crawl, they're starting to pull themselves up on furniture and really interact more with their world. It's a time of struggle. If you've ever watched an infant as they're trying to figure out how to move into space, and they start crawling and their arms get stuck underneath them, or they pull themselves up on furniture and they let go and they fall down. And so there's a lot of struggle that happens in this stage of movement development. And so this is always a good place if you're ever feeling stuck or dealing with a struggle. Can be a great movement exploration to return to kind of help you move through some of that stuff. So first we're going to start by exploring the yield-push relationship. We're going to do that with movement familiar from the head-tail exploration. And so if you just want to, you can do this sitting down. I'm going to do this movement using Cobra Pose. And so finding a way to engage this kind of sensory exploration that works best for you. But so the idea of yielding and pushing is that people do not just exert influence on the world around them, they also yield into the things that are around them. And so getting your hands underneath your shoulders, you can kind of rest your head on the ground. And feel and notice how your body yields into the space underneath you. In order to do this, you have to really let go, which can be challenging. And so just feeling if there's any tension in your muscles as you're doing this and sending the breath that way to really kind of yield into the earth that is supporting you. And then the other part of yield is when you get engaged, you put that tension into your body and you push up and away. And you can kind of feel and experiment and play around with yielding into the earth, pushing out and away from it, and yielding down pushing away. You can also try this with your feet. So if you tuck your toes from this position and push, and see how you can use the yielding and the pushing to mobilize with your lower body. So these movements might be familiar if you spend some time with an infant when they're trying to figure out how to crawl. They engage in a lot of that rocking motion. So that's yield push. And the other half of upper lower movement and yield push is reach pull. And so for this I'm going to do a movement exploration through more of a kind of monkey movement. And so if you feel comfortable getting this low, feel free to do so. If kind of being in a low squat is not a comfortable position for you, not where you're at today, you can also simply do this movement with your upper body. You can do it with your breath, sending it to a particular place, pulling oxygen in, sending oxygen out. And so if you're going to get into a squat, kind of focusing on reaching and how far you can reach out with your hands kind of before your body falls forward and you lose your balance, and then using your hands to pull yourself forward. You can also do this going backwards into space. So pushing, using that yield push, pushing back to reach with your lower body. So just kind of exploring the reaching into space. You also don't have to move forward into space if you don't want to. You can just kind of practice shifting from different angles side to side. And noticing the sensation of reaching, the sensation of pulling. With the pull, you really kind of have to bring your attention to the places you're in contact with the ground and the tension and how that shifts to pull you forward. Now we're just going to spend some time doing some open movement exploration with these themes: yielding, pushing, reaching, pulling, and spending some time figuring out what works best for your body, what feels good for you. So paying attention to the breath, letting the breath kind of guide you and lead you in the movement process. Spending some time exploring movement in the upper body, exploring movement in the lower body. And how the concepts of yielding, reaching, pushing, and pulling come up as you move the different halves. And as you're doing this, you might also notice some of the other connectivities that we've gone through. I'm noticing a little bit of my spine as I'm moving my upper body. And then just bring the movements to a close. So, if you would like to keep exploring this connectivity, you can always pause the video and keep your movement exploration going. Otherwise, next we will be talking about body half. So I will see you guys next time. End by closing out our space with a deep breath.